Hello guys, my name is Bella. Welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be talking about the infamous movie that just hit Netflix, 365 Days. I feel like you guys are gonna get a really good glimpse into some of my problematic behaviors, but that's okay. If you didn't know, 365 Days is literally about a guy who runs some mafia, and he kidnaps this girl that he's been obsessed with and forces her to fall in love with him in the time frame of 365 days. I mean, can we get any more Wattpad than that? I really don't think that we can. It came to Netflix on the 7th, and within the week that it is released, I've already watched it twice, and tonight I'm going to watch it on a Netflix party with my friends. Again. So let's just talk about this movie because there's a lot. So at the beginning of the movie, we are introduced to our characters in a weird way. The movie cold opens at this like castle looking place on an island, and there's like a weird sex trafficking deal happening between main guy's dad. Main guy's name is Massimo, okay? Main guy's dad and some drug dealers talking about child sex trafficking. What a way to open up your movie, truly. Massimo's just, you know, chilling on the top of the roof with some binoculars, and he's like looking over the coast, and all of a sudden he sees this like magical, like beautiful looking woman, and we're just like, what is happening? Dad comes over to talk to our main man, and all of a sudden he gets shot. This movie hits the ground running really fast. Then the next screen, 5 years later. Cool. And they have this like parallel boardroom scene going on where she's doing her legitimate business and he's doing his like gang leader business, but they're both in a boardroom for some reason. I don't know why that's the setting for like drug dealers, like boardrooms. Is that how business is done? I don't know. It's very irrelevant what happens in their boardroom scenes. I think the entire purpose of the scene was to show that they are both like powerful like business people in their own right, but like, I don't know, I just thought it was very pointless. So then we're back at her apartment and she's like planning the vacation with her boyfriend. We're basically introduced to this boyfriend character who is, I mean, we're supposed to think he's the worst. And then we move on to the real meat and potatoes of this movie, which is sex. On Netflix, this movie had like title tags of like passionate, erotic, and BDSM. Yeah, so that's what this movie is about. So I think this is like 15 minutes into the movie and we're already going really hard. They love to do parallel scenes. This is the second scene in a row with a parallel scene of them like flipping back and forth in between what they're doing. So he's on his private jet talking business, and then all of a sudden he's going with the flight attendant, and we're just like, it's been 15 minutes. People are talking about, oh my god, 50 Shades of Grey, so vulgar. Not even close, not even close, not even close. Okay, so then we go to Sicily for her birthday. Everything is irrelevant, and she's like wandering the streets at night because her boyfriend was an ass like we saw before, so why are we even surprised? I'm not. And so she's like wandering around the streets at night in this very ugly like kimono for the beach, and she gets kidnapped by Massimo's like people. And so then she wakes up in this strange room and she's just like, oh my god, what's happening? So she finds her way downstairs. She's trying to run away because good for you, girl, trying to escape. Yes, we love that, escape. So then we see Massimo and her interact for the first time. Tell me why she turns around and she sees a portrait of her face. Like, I'm talking about like the size of a wall portrait of her face in this man's house, and they have some rambunctious like fighting or whatever, and it's just like a whole thing. He's like, I've been looking for you for the last 5 years. And I'm just like, 5 years is a long time to be stalking someone. And I don't know, she like faints or something, and he tries to put an ice cube in her mouth and she spits it at his face. I don't know I don't know why that happened. And then basically he's like, well, my men already took all of the stuff from your room with your boyfriend, who, oh, by the way, he's cheating on you. And he like hands her a manila folder of like her boyfriend cheating on her, and it like has pictures, and I'm just like, oh, so the boyfriend was disgusting, but also, sir, you literally just kidnapped her. This movie cannot get any more Wattpad, but it can, and I'll keep telling you how. He like gets really rough with her. I don't understand why. He's like, oh my god, I love you. This is the thing about crazy men in movies, which I don't understand, or crazy men in general. This is like an interesting line that I had from The Handmaid's Tale, which is like, men are afraid that women are gonna laugh at them. Women are afraid that men are gonna kill them, because this is some crazy boyfriend killer behavior, okay? Talking about some, I took all your stuff from your room and here's pictures of your boyfriend cheating on you with a girl, but also I wrote a letter pretending to be you to give to your boyfriend as to why you just magically ran away today and you're never gonna be coming back. And we're just like, we're supposed to believe this? We're not supposed to run away from you? Talking about you have 365 days to fall in love with me. Excuse me? Absolutely not. Here's my thing, like, why did you have to do it in such a roundabout way? Like, okay, you've been looking for her for the last 5 years, cool. So why could you not just, like, I don't know, do it in a way where you didn't have to literally kidnap her? Like, why is that the core? Why does she need to be kidnapped? Like, why does she need, why? Like, can't you just, like, I don't know, try to, like, date her normally? Like, is that not an option? Like, I get that she has a boyfriend. The boyfriend's obviously cheating on her. I feel like you can figure out a way. Like, I think you can wait. You already waited 5 years. Like, I'm pretty sure you can wait a little bit longer, okay? Okay. Just my opinion, but hey. They have their first meeting debacle where it basically ends up with him, like, pressing her face onto a pillar. Cool, I guess. Even though he made it very clear that he said that I won't force you to do anything, which is like, but you already kidnapped me, so I really don't know how much I trust that, but like, sure, sure. So then we have a weird shopping, like, sequence. Like, it's literally a montage where them two are going with 2 bodyguards and, like, she gets to pick out whatever she wants and, like, just goes shopping with him. And, like, I don't understand what the purpose of this scene is. Literally all they do for like 3 minutes straight is like her trying on dresses and then like buying the dresses. But anyway, near that, she's like trying to run away, which girl is in a like flowing red dress and like 5-inch wedges. I've never understood that about shows where like they'll have these girls running in 5-inch heels. Number one, ridiculous. Number two, she was doing that in 5-inch wedges on like some stone path road. And I'm like, girl, you are gonna twist and break your ankle. Like, I know that you don't need to slow down in this particular circumstance, but like I wish that you would for your own like safety. But I mean, hey, maybe a broken ankle is better than being kidnapped for a year. So then the next morning, she's like waking up and they're somehow in the same bed. I don't know why. So she wakes up to take a shower and she's like trying to bait him, which I'm like, girl, I don't understand. You like clearly don't want to be here, but then you're trying to bait him to do what? And then he comes up to take a shower too. And then she's shocked. She's like looking at him and he's like, you keep looking at me. And then she's like, oh my God, what? Why would you say that? And I'm like, girl, what? So he didn't do anything to her in the shower, which is positive. I mean, that's the bare minimum. But hey, I'll take what I can get from this movie, right? Right. So I don't know, he's like, get ready, we're going somewhere, and they end up going somewhere. This movie also takes place in multiple like countries and locations to the point where I don't actually know what country they're in at any given moment, except for like one time. One time am I aware of exactly where they are. So he's like, get ready, we're going somewhere. And she's like, where are we going? And I don't know if he answers her or not, but honestly, I can't remember, and I've seen this movie twice. So she's getting ready and I don't know what was going on through this girl's mind. So she decides, okay, I'm gonna go to his hotel room naked because they have 2 separate rooms. So she puts on a robe, but she has nothing underneath. And she goes to his hotel room and is like, you said you wouldn't touch me, like, ha ha ha. So here I am, but now I'm leaving. Crazy man over here locks the door. He somehow locked it from the inside, which I don't know how you lock a hotel room from the inside and a normal person can't figure out how to get out, but you know what? Let's just suspend that disbelief for a moment, okay? This is where this movie really goes left and we're all very confused. So he got out the shower too when she rolled up on him in his room. So he's also naked. He grabs her and for some reason he has cuffs on the posters of his bed, you know? And he literally handcuffs her to each bedpost. So she's like spread eagle on this bed and literally cannot move in just a robe, which mind you has halfway slipped off her body. She's like, I thought you weren't gonna touch me or some nonsense like that, which I don't know why you would expect that from a man who literally kidnapped you, but you know what? Whatever. But no, you're right. He doesn't touch her. Do you know what he does instead? Do you know what he does instead? Instead, he has this, I'm assuming prostitute, come into his room and he sits on the couch that is directly across from the bed and she starts giving him and I'm just over here like, what the f? And so is Laura. Laura is her name, by the way. I don't understand Mance's mindset where he's just like, yeah, this'll make me look big in her eyes. She'll want me now. Like, what? I don't know what weird power play that was. And then he uncuffs her from the bed and she like basically runs back to her like hotel room. And I'm just like, what? That whole entire scene was a mess and I was so shocked. I was like, literally, what's happening right now? Like, I was watching that movie and I was just like. So then they go to a club, which, might I mention, is a scene that needs an epilepsy warning, okay? I don't have epilepsy, but there should have been a flash warning or something at the beginning or in the credits or at the bottom in the subtitles, because literally, oh my god. Homegirl rolls up in this short, sparkly dress with her hair in a high ponytail, which is the same hairstyle of the prostitute in the scene before. So I'm like, I get what you're doing, which, like, honestly, sassy, and I appreciate it. And so she's like, you know what? Whatever. He's gonna go do business over here. I'm gonna go have fun in this club. She, like, starts, like, flirting with this one guy in front of him. Apparently, the guy that she's flirting with is a business partner of Massimo, so somehow, like, they get back upstairs and she's, like, dancing on a pole, but this guy's like, oh my god, come here. He's being like really gross and literally so grimy, and it's like, ew. And you know what Massimo does? He makes his way over to them, rips them apart, and literally holds like 7 people at gunpoint with 2 guns in both hands. He's like this, like a Western movie. It's like this. Wow, this is pretty extreme. Also, we're in a public area. Like, can you do that? I get that it's your club, but like still, it's kind of a bad look, but whatever. So he does that, and then it just cuts and we move on to the next scene, and I'm just like, what was the result? Was he just threatening people with a gun? What's going on? So the next morning, they're on a yacht in the middle of the literal ocean, and they're just, you know, going around or whatever. She wakes up and she's like apologizing, like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like, did you have to kill him or whatever? And he's like, if you weren't wearing that dress. And I'm just like, if she wasn't wearing that dress, well, excuse me? Not an excuse. Absolutely not. I need you to take 10 steps back. You kidnapped this girl and now you're just shaming her clothing choices? For what? For who? So then she starts running to God knows where, because they're literally on a boat. So then they get at the beginning, like, pointy front part of the boat. I don't know boating terms, sorry. And she somehow falls overboard and he's having 10 panic attacks. He's like, oh my god, Laura, Laura, Laura. And so he jumps in and like saves her or whatever. I guess she can't swim. So, like, that's, I guess, why it's, like, really traumatic or whatever. He, like, basically rescues her and puts her, like, on the boat and, like, is like, breathe, breathe, you know? Like, no CPR, just, like, breathe, because she's, like, choking and, like, you know? She's, like, doing that whole number. So, of course, this is the traumatic moment in the movie, okay? This is the moment where they bond because of her trauma, which I hate. I hate in Wattpad books where the girl has to go through this like traumatizing experience for her to fall in love with this guy. Why does she need to be in pain? At least in this movie, it wasn't directly in response to like her being sexually attacked, which is positive at least. At least it was because she almost drowned that she's like, oh my god, I love you, my savior, instead of, oh my god, I was like almost like assaulted, my savior. So because of this response to this like trauma, because the trauma is just so high, she's like, I have to have sex with you. So for the next 5 minutes, 5 minutes, bro, they have sex on this boat. Literally on every single surface of this boat. I'm talking about, it turns into a music video where all they're doing is having sex on this boat in the middle of the ocean, and it's really crazy and it's really intense, and it is some of the most graphic sex I have ever seen in a movie in my entire life, bro. I still don't understand how drowning leads to sex, but I mean, I guess they needed something to push the plot forward, and so I guess that's just how it has to be. They go to a masquerade ball because we all know it wouldn't be a mafia kidnap story if there wasn't some fancy ball event where people can like hide their identities. So then a girl in a mask rolls up on them and he's like, get out of here. And we're like, who is this? At the beginning of the movie, on the way home from the business meeting, he got a text from this girl named Anna, which looks suspiciously like Laura. I'm talking about they look like the same person, which to me means that he A, has a type, or B, was like so obsessed with her that he literally could only be with girls like that. Anna rolls up, and Anna's just not a regular girl. Oh, no, no, no. Anna is also a member of the mafia. She literally says in Italian in front of this girl, I'm gonna kill her. Laura is like, oh my god, what did she say? And Massimo's like, she said she was gonna kill you. And Laura's like, I wanna leave. So they leave. Then there's another random sex scene, which is like really short. I don't know what the purpose of it is. And then he's like, you're gonna go to Poland. And she's like, what? Since when? Like, what are you talking about? I'm going to Poland. Like, hello? And he's like, but you always wanted to go back, so you're going. And so he's basically forcing her to go back home, which, I mean, I don't know why that's bad, because this is your chance to escape if you really want to, girl, but whatever. Bro, this part of the movie is nonsense. So she goes to her friend's house, and her friend is like, oh my god, where have you been? So they get drunk off of like a bottle of wine, and then she starts like literally telling the truth, talking about, he kidnapped me, he's in the mafia, XYZ. Like, she spills the tea. And her friend is just like, oh my god, you're literally crazy. Do you know what this calls for? A makeover. And so after this makeover, this poor actress, I don't understand what happened in the hair and makeup department, but this actress was now forced for the rest of the movie to wear this god-awful, fake-looking blonde bob wig. I'm talking about, there was no part. It was just straight hair. Like, the hair was stiff. There was no movement. It looked fake. It looked like a helmet on her head. We didn't even see her get her hair done. Like, we only saw the hairdresser going like this with her hair on the side. And she goes back to her apartment. So she tries to get into her apartment, and guess who's in the apartment? I feel like you should all know the answer, because this is the most predictable thing ever. And then Laura walks into this apartment talking about, I'm so mad, where were you? You left me here, I didn't even know where you are. Their argument was so short and irrelevant to the point where A, barely know what it's about, B, it doesn't really matter. All that matters is that they're angry at each other. Why? Because they have angry sex. So they're in this apartment, and all of a sudden he starts grabbing her and they just start having sex again. But the pivotal point of this movie is halfway through them having sex, she literally says, I love you. She says it in the most dramatic way ever. She literally goes, I don't need 365 days. And he's like, what? She's like, I love you. And he's like, what? Say it again. She's like, I love you. Then we wake up next morning. There's an engagement ring on her finger the next morning. The engagement ring was on the wrong hand. Because of the way the apartment was shaped, I feel like the director really wanted the nice, like, floor-to-ceiling windows and skyscrapers in the background, so they ended up putting the engagement ring on her right hand instead of her left hand. So he ended up putting this engagement ring on her finger while she was asleep, and he was like, oh my god, is this too much? And I'm like, do you say yes? And she's like, it's already on my finger, what do you mean? And then we get another shopping scene, because 2 is better than 1, and it is another montage again. So then we cut to them at a wedding. I don't know whose wedding this is. All I know is that her parents are at this wedding. So Massimo meets Laura's parents, and they're like, okay, yeah, hi, how are you? Like, what do you do? And he's like, I'm a gangster. Bro, she literally told him 30 seconds before, can you like lie, because I don't want my parents to know, or like I don't think that they should know, you know, like this is problematic, so how about we keep that you do illegal activities on the low? How about we keep that you're a murderer on the low? And they're like laughing about it, which I think is insane, okay? If somebody literally comes up to you you've never met before with your daughter who looks completely different than the last time you saw her, and she has not been talking to you for the last 6 months at least, and all of a sudden she rolls through with this guy, I think that raises a few red flags in my opinion. To me, I think that that says that my daughter may be forced to be in this relationship. Okay, so then the friend makes it back to whatever country they're in at this point, because I honestly don't know. Maybe it's Poland, maybe it's Italy, maybe it's, I don't know. And they go wedding dress shopping, because remember, she is engaged. So she's on her way back to her house. There's literally 10 minutes left of this movie. Literally 10. And I'm just sitting there like, what is going on now? Because nothing is making any sense. So she's like on this like cute, very aesthetic, scenic, windy road or whatever, just on the side of a mountain. And then the old guy is like trying to call Massimo, I think. It's like not going through because he's on the phone with Laura. And then he gets to the compound and he's like running to Massimo. And Laura goes into a tunnel, so the phone cuts and Massimo's like, hello, hello, hello. And then the old man runs up to Massimo and is like, shaking his head, and I'm like, I don't know what the shake of the head means. So Massimo falls to his knees and I still don't understand what's going on. We cut back to the like scenic like highway, mountainside, whatever, and there are just cops in the tunnel. And then the movie movie's over. I think that scene, like, she either A, died, or B, I think what my friend said was that Anna kidnapped her, which I don't know how you get to that conclusion if you didn't read the book. I didn't read the book. I'm talking 8 minutes into the movie and all of a sudden we have a whole new plot like happening. I don't get it. If Anna is the one who kidnapped her in this, the development of the Anna character, we literally saw her twice on screen. One of the times was on a screen, so I don't know how that makes literally any sense. The least developed and least scary villain ever. Honestly, Massimo is a better villain than Anna. He is the one who stalked her for 5 years and then literally kidnapped her and took her away from all of her family members and said, you must fall in love with me. Like, he is a more evil and like insidious villain than Anna. Who is Anna? Anna is just a girl that he had sex with a couple times that's like low-key obsessed and is okay with murder because she's in a mafia. But like, I don't really get it. I don't really get it. Overall, what I have to say about this movie is that I had a lot of thoughts. My 13-year-old self that did read Wattpad was really creeping through a little bit too much when I was watching this movie because I was like, oh my god, like he loves her, and I was like, actually he's literally insane, so let's take 10 steps back. Overall, would I recommend that you watch this movie? I don't know, it depends. Like, what are you watching this movie for? A good story? Absolutely not. Did I watch this movie because I thought it was gonna be a good story? No. Did I watch this movie because I thought it was gonna be high quality? Absolutely not. What? We all know that we watch this movie because we A, are gonna hate watch, and B, it's like supposed to be this like better than 50 Shades, like lose yourself in the erotic passion type of movie. That is why I watched this movie. And I would recommend you watch this movie if you like garbage movies, bro. Garbage. So dumb. It is so dumb. So guys, if you liked the video, make sure to like the video and don't forget to subscribe so you can stay notified on all of my latest uploads, and don't forget to ring the little bell down below once you've subscribed so you'll be the first to watch when I upload a new video. Until next time, bye.